Hello, beautiful, beautiful souls. Welcome back. I'm so excited to have you here today. Today at 222. I fucking love that. Just on my timer right now. Just thought I'd share because I love being in alignment with the universe. Today I want to talk to you about why I've made so many big leaps in having coaches and being with or in, I should say, rooms that are bigger than me, and why I've been a small fish in a big pond. Because to me, this is a really big point. If you want to do anything in your life, you need to always be learning, always be growing, always be finding new things because we have to be curious about life, right? Because if we think we know everything, we're done because we can never know everything. And I think this is the thing that gets lost these days is we can get stuck in a rut where we don't actually allow ourselves to expand and to grow. And it's scary, right? Like we've talked about fear before. It's a really scary piece. When we see people that have done what we want to do, we get to also leverage off what they've learned. And I think this is a really beautiful, beautiful piece because if you're anything like me, I love reading. At the moment, I'm actually reading this really cool book, oh my God, Existential Kink. Wow, that was way too much to get out. Not even that hard to say. Bless. Isn't it funny when we have words that aren't that hard to say, but sometimes we struggle to get them out. Anyway, existential kink. I really had to concentrate for that. Maybe that's something I need to work on. Ooh, love this. Anyway, so this incredible book, which is really fun because it talks about the subconscious and how we can go about it, thinking of it in a kinky, fun way. Anyway, I'm not through it yet, so I can't really give you the footnotes. However, it's really cool because I wrote this letter to the universe, to God, and just about all the fears that I have, right? All my subconscious fears, all the stories that I keep telling myself, around money. For me right now, that's my biggest thing. Coming from a job, right, where I'm paid the same every couple of weeks, all the things, to moving to a actual business where it's not as consistent or constant, right? It's just allowing what needs to come in and out and flow and be with all of the things, which is so beautiful and also has a lot of things to teach me, which I absolutely fucking love. So I'm writing down all my fears, right? And I'm so excited because I'm doing this on my masterclass with the beautiful women that have signed up tonight, which is so exciting. So you can actually, if you don't get on tonight, you can get the replay. Make sure you go check it out. And it's going to be really cool because it's about those stories that we constantly tell ourselves, right? Because our external, as we say, is literally a representation of how we internally feel. And so what we see outside of ourselves, if we don't like what we see, we have to change it. And the only way we can do this is by learning and growing and looking at new perspective and new ways of doing things. I remember when I first started my business, I went and did this energy healing and absolutely wild, right, with this beautiful, beautiful woman who'd done my tarot card reading not that long before. And I was like, I want a coach and I want a coaching course to become qualified to become a life and success coach and all things. And wild, they both popped up on my Instagram the next day, absolutely wild. Manifesting at its fucking finest is, when you're on song with the things that you want to do. Now, I had not long before failed uni, right? I'd gone through the system and done the things I thought I should do to then become this woman who, would make money in a conventional sense, right? Whereas we know money is an abundance and it flows, it's a currency. It flows in and out of our bank account, it flows in and out of our life. We get to receive it and then we also get to co-create with it, which is so beautiful. And so it's so beautiful when we don't put it on a pedestal. And for so long, I was like, oh my God, I need money or I need to save money or have money to do the things. Whereas money is a beautiful relationship like we have with money and men and all the things. And, for me, obviously. And it's so beautiful because it's when I honor money, when I thank money for what it I get to do with it, I get to co-create with it, is actually fucking wild on how that works. Like how when I'm so grateful for what I have, when I'm so grateful for what I receive from spending money, from investing money in all the things, I actually see it come back to me tenfold. And this is in abundance of life, in freedom, in time, in space, in all of the things, in more money, right? It just returns to me, which is wild. And so it's so beautiful to think that I get to go into a world in my business where I get to honor women, support women, because my why is all about women. Like the women in my world right now, like they reminded me the other day, it was so beautiful. A client that I had had for 14 months, we'd done so much beautiful work, and she has a beautiful testimonial she wrote for me on the page, which is absolutely wild. And to share now that she's doing so many beautiful things, like she's gone even further and she's doing so much more because of what we did together and how she still holds me with her. Like that's how she says it's so beautiful to know that she still holds me with her when she's journeying and doing the things and coming into how she understands that she's not going to have the capacity to do all the things. She understands that she has to meet herself where she is before and love and respect and be with and love all parts of her where she is before she's going to move forward, right? Because once she loves herself where she is and honors what she needs, then she's going to have more energy, time, and space, and then bring in it's not really her desire, money, but like all the abundance of health and abundance of time, space, freedom, mental clarity, all of these things, right? Because that's what she desires. And this is the beautiful thing about working with women is like, I have another beautiful, beautiful friend who was a client as well, who, when I first started working with her, she thought that emotions were weakness, right? And she shared with me this week of just how she allows herself now to cry and be with the thing and honor what she's actually feeling. And it's so beautiful to see that because, she came from quite a hectic job, like being in the military. She was a paramedic. And so, that's not really where we get taught to allow our emotions and allow ourselves to be seen and held and feel safe. And for her to do a journal practice and realize and write down who she feels safe with and have me to come up as her first person of being safe with is such an honor and a privilege that she can share these beautiful things, these times when she's feeling like she needs to release emotions and be with things. And it's so beautiful to honor and be with her on this journey to allow her to be seen and heard and held and honored in, the times when you don't feel good, because we need to release those, right? They can't be held in our body like we've talked about, because the trauma and the emotions, if they're constantly held in our body, we don't allow ourselves to move forward and magnetize what we want in this life because we're holding on to all of this baggage, we'll call it, or whatever you want to call it. You can give it whatever name you like. And we just don't realize, we don't think about how we feel. And then when we don't think about how we feel and we don't honor ourselves letting that go, then we don't allow ourselves to be with what we actually desire and allow ourselves to bring that in and magnetize that to us. And what I've loved seeing about these two beautiful, incredible women is that they absolutely are doing what serves them. They've come back to who they are as women and what they actually want in this world. And they're now honoring their journey through allowing themselves to cry, to release, to be seen in the deep darkness and depth when they were with me of the things that they didn't think were possible or they didn't know that they wanted to be seen in. And they brought their darkness into the light whilst being held and supported. And that meant that they actually allowed themselves to open up to receive so many gifts. And through her allowing her to be with her emotions and all these things, she's alchemized money. She's alchemized allowing herself to leave her job. And honestly, is an absolute fucking weapon and will be and is actually an amazing coach, but she hasn't got any offers up at the moment. But It's going to be so beautiful because she's already helping people all the time. And it's so amazing to see what she's learned and how fucking amazing she is in how much she allows herself to keep learning and growing. And this is what I love about my clients is, well, when we were together, they get to learn and grow through what I've learned and grown through, and they get to be and open themselves up, right? Be vulnerable. Because let me tell you, babe, this life is about being vulnerable. I just watched a video and I absolutely love this. It's now happening in science as well. A beautiful friend sent me a video and it was about how we don't really communicate well together anymore. And the reason for this is because there's 3 different types of communication style, right? There's like, when you want to talk about your feelings, and if someone's not on the same line of communication with you, you can feel like you're talking to someone, but they don't get it, right? And it's so interesting. I didn't realize they're doing this in schools now. So teachers are being taught to ask certain questions based on, what style of communication that is needed at that time. And the kids can respond and actually get what they want from it, which is actually a great skill to become a great communicator. And I want to share them with you. And I'm just going to have to look them up properly because I only watched this morning. But I want to share how this really got to me and how sometimes when we talk to people, it's about how we feel, right? Because let's be honest, how many times, and I want to answer this question because this was something he got everyone to do. So I'd love if you could do this with someone that you don't know, a complete stranger, is actually ask them, when was the last time you cried in front of someone? And I'm going to answer this for you right now. The last time I cried in front of someone, when they were sitting across from me, I've cried, was with my girlfriend Mel on the weekend because I was talking about my auntie and I started crying and she put a hand on me and it was lovely and it was a really beautiful, deep connection. The last time I've cried, well, I cry sometimes when I'm voice noting people, my girlfriends a lot of the time, my coach, my mentor. And it's really beautiful because what it does is it shows that the vulnerability and the things that we actually seek in connection. And when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and be fully seen, we feel so much more connected to the people around us. And this is what I'm so excited to do with the women tonight in the masterclass, is allow them to fully be held and seen in all of who they are. And I want them to just allow their emotions and feel like there's connection, because we've lost that in the world and we know this, but it's like, how do we communicate this? And when I was saying with the kids, what's really cool is I took a little screenshot and they have the 3 different ways, right? So a practical way. So what's this really about? So then they get to look at, how can they be helped? What do they actually need to know? An emotional way. So if you need to find out if you want an emotional conversation, how do you feel? This is something we should just ask everyone all the time. I feel like sometimes we've lost that. We don't actually ask people how I feel. And probably a lot of us, if I'm honest, I've done this plenty of times, is mismatched and been like, what's this really about in a practical sense, and wanted to fix it, right? Or wanted to give a practical answer. When some people actually just want to be asked, like, how do you feel? Like, what does that feel like for you? Because they're having an emotional, vulnerable conversation and they're opening up. And sometimes we're mismatched with what we're saying to them. And then there's a more social, who are we conversation. So it's like, that's a little bit different in a social sense. And this is more directed at children. So this wouldn't really be great for an adult environment. However, what I wanted to highlight here is more about the feeling piece. A lot of us, I think, live in practical conversations, and I think we want to help people and we want to give people a practical outcome. For example, someone comes home and they're like, I'm having a really shitty time at work, and they feel like they're just expressing their emotions and they're like, oh my God, like it's so crappy. And then we come in with a practical way of being like, why don't you just take them out for lunch? Or why don't you just, interact with them in a different way? And at that point in time, that's why the conversation is missed, because a lot of the time we're not actually having the conversation where we need to be met and held. And so in that instance, we just get to, and I love this about coaching, because this is the skills and the tools that we learn becoming life coaches and success coaches, right? Is about listening, digesting, allowing someone to be heard, seen, felt, and then repeating it back so that you get to actually understand what you've put out and you get to feel seen, heard, supported, and helped. And it's a beautiful skill, and everyone can learn these skills, right? Like asking people how they feel is literally you starting to learn the skill of communication. And so what I love about this is that I didn't know that one of my biggest gifts was holding space for women. And my why, because I fucking love it. Like when they get into the juiciness and the love and they just like cry in front of me. I had a client last week do the same thing. It's releasing that emotion, it's building that connection and that love and that knowing they're supported and held through all of this, right? And I do this with my coach. This is why I hire a mentor as well, right? And this is why I've had a coach, and this is why I have friends that support me in this way and all of the things. And it's very important to have a very good support network. But why it's so important and why I invest is because, one, they've got where I want to be in a certain amount of time and I want to get to where they are, and they could tell me how to do it quicker. That is one thing why I invest in having coaches, in having mentors, in all the things. Two, I also get to be vulnerable with them and share when shit is not working out the way I want it to. The amount of times I've spoken to God, and if you've been following me, you'll know that I've got a retreat coming up. Very, very exciting, co-hosting, going to be amazing. And the amount of times I've had to give that to God and be like, I need to stop trying to control this and get in my head and think I know who's coming in and when they're coming in and all the things. I get to honor that I know holding space for women for me is my greatest gift, to allow them to be open and free and vulnerable and just be all of who they are is literally my gift. That's why I'm doing a masterclass on it tonight. Like I know that this is a God, and I used to never talk about God, spirit, all the things, but God has divinely guided me to this. This isn't just me. And I think that's a really beautiful point as well. A lot of this stuff, when we come into coaching, when we come into the spiritual world, when we come into self-development, most of the time it is divinely guided. I'm going to say 99% of the time, because I want to share my gifts and how I've grown and what I've done and all of this with you. That's why I became a coach, right? So I get to hold women through what I have been through, sometimes alone and mostly supported when I started coaching. Alone a lot before I knew what coaching was, unless I went and saw a psychologist, which I definitely did. And the beautiful part about this is I get to share the experience with you. I go through transformations just like you do. I get to transform just talking to you. Sometimes in client calls, I get so many epiphanies while the client's going through epiphanies, right? This is the beauty of facilitation, the beauty of holding women is like, it's just actually so amazing to think why I do this. Why I do this is to receive the beautiful messages I've had from the beautiful clients and friends that I've got to serve. Like, my why is to feel that in my heart and my heart fully expand and open, and to see the joy and the love and their hearts open and how much they appreciate and love themselves from us working together. It's actually the most divine, beautiful experience to watch a woman fully go from no longer really being in this place where they're stuck and trapped and like they don't know where to go and they don't know what to do, and they're sort of on a hamster wheel, if I'm honest, or in a box, because that's what I've lived, as you know. And so when they go from that to opening up and being wild and being free and accepting all parts of themselves, it's actually such a blessing to be a part of that process, to be a part of that journey. And all these beautiful questions help open people up. And the reason also I hire a coach is because I can't see my blind spots. Neither can you. It's just one of those things that we need people around us to ask us questions. I had a friend ask me questions last night, which opened me up and my heart was open. And then I shared on Instagram and I was so lit up by just how nourished I am by women growing. being a part of their growth, having the tools and the skills to assist them to grow quicker, to quantum leap, to actually do the thing. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going through stuff myself. I was talking about earlier, me going through my money stuff. That is a thing right now. And I'm allowing myself to move through that. And it starts with the subconscious things and then it goes through the body. And then I'm like, how do I release this from my body? And we get to be in this journey together. I love that too. I love walking the journey with women because I'm also in the work always. You know what I mean? It's not, no one is healed. No one has got to the bloody grand whatever spot of healing. Like, I'm going through shit too. Sometimes life sucks. Sometimes life doesn't work out. The amount of times I've taken leaps and been like, this is going to absolutely take off. And I mean, I can give you a prime example of my business is like, the time when I remember I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do these meditations every week because women want connection, they want love, and they want to be with, each other and they want to grow with women around them. And do you know how many times I had one woman show up or two women show up? It was wild. The first time I did it was amazing. I had 7 women. It was absolutely incredible. And then after that, I would have one woman, 2 women, and then it would be hit and miss. Sometimes I've had 3 women. Like it just was really interesting. And I had to move through so many times of like, am I meant to do this? And I kept doing it for 6 months. And then I allowed myself to do other things like now this podcast, and I took on some things that were a little bit different so I could allow myself to grow and move in different ways, which is so beautiful. There's so many times I've reached out to people and they have never gotten back to me, or I've been like, do you want to do this together? And they're like, absolutely not. And like the beauty is if you don't step out and make that like message or call, or you don't work with that person, what I've found and what I probably would be my biggest takeaway is that I wish I'd done it sooner. I watch people, and I've done this myself with the coach I have now, this multi-7 she's got like multi-7-figure amazing coach, and she is incredible, right? So she's six businesses now, like wild. Okay. She's wild. And like for so long, I thought about working with her, right? In this higher level. And now I look back and I'm like, why didn't I do it sooner? It's one of those things that probably will happen most of your life, right? And not saying like it all divinely worked at the right time. I believe that. But it's so funny when you don't do the thing or you allow yourself to realize that sometimes like, fuck, I could have done that way earlier. We might be in a different position right now. Also, we may not. This is the other piece, right? All well and good to hindsight's a beautiful thing. And if I'd done this, I'll be here and all of this. That's not always true. You're not always going to end up where you think you're going to end up. And this is a really big piece that drives home in self-development as well, because sometimes we think we're going to be here and we have this full plan, right? This is the control piece. I talk about my control freak self. Here we go. Let's really delve into this girl. We can imagine and we're like, this is where I'm going to be. And God's like, I don't fucking think so, babe. He's like, I've actually got something even bigger and better than what you're holding space for. And you're like, come on, why is it not happening? Why doesn't it look the way I want it to look? And like, you're just trying to control the whole outcome. And then God's like, nah, babe, not yet. It's not your time, or it's not the right time, or it's not the right thing. And so you just have to trust and be with it. Now, what I know from those meditations is they were incredible, and I absolutely learned so much about facilitating, setting things up, running events. I will definitely run more events. And it was a beautiful way to connect with some incredible women. And I just loved it. Do you know what I mean? Like it was so beautiful and it taught me so much. Same with this retreat. This is wild what we've been going through and what we've journeyed and what we've learned when it comes to money, when it comes to clients, when it comes to opening up a beautiful conversation with a woman to find out how she's actually going. Do you know that's what lights me up the most is actually being with women and being like, tell me what's up with you. Like I'd love to know and help you and support you through this. And you know what? In the end, it doesn't matter how many people turn up. It's what I learned from my events. It doesn't matter how much money you make, because let's be honest, money is an amplifier for you to do more, right? The beautiful part about money and why it is such an incredible resource is the more money you have, the more impact you can make. And I fucking love this because it's like, it's not really about the money, but it's about the money, right? So it's like we get to open ourselves up and be like, I get to serve these women. My why is serving women and seeing the incredible impact I have on their life. Like, it is absolutely wild. Nothing will beat that feeling, and no other reason will ever be more important than that. And though I get paid so I can keep impacting more women's lives, which is wild, right? And I used to be in the opposite. I used to be like, oh my gosh, like, to leave my job, I have to get paid all this money. Actually, no. It's like, it's so beautiful to be able to hold these women through their journey. And also, I get to get paid the value of what I have actually journeyed myself, what I've actually invested in myself, and having a coach and a mentor and all these things, so that I can keep growing, so I can hold them even deeper, so I can honor their growth even deeper. So we get to keep going there, right? And when I also ask for the money that honors my value, what I'm doing is showing them how valuable they are, because they're paying that value and actually knowing they're worthy to pay that, which means they're worthy of putting that much value into themselves. It's actually wild. And I never realized this when I first invested in coaches, but it's about the fact that I believe I'm worth that much. I am worth putting that much value into myself. That's it. That's it. And this is why I love this so much, is because you get the power to choose how valuable you are by investing into someone who will honor you and get you to where you want to go. If you watch them and they are literally where you want to be right now, they are the person to get you there quicker. They are the person you are to invest in. They are going to get you there. And it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be painful, and it's going to be absolutely amazing and a whirlwind all at the same time. But you get to honor that, and you get to realize how fucking valuable you are, because it is about you. For me, investing in this incredible coach, it's about me, investing more in me, knowing how valuable I fucking am. And I get to actually show myself that and see that in myself. And it's so wild. It's so wild because I never realized how valuable I was until I started actually putting value back into myself. And it was the best. It was the best decision of my life. And it never looks exactly as I think it's going to look, but guess what? It gives me exactly what I need at the time. And nothing can beat that. Having more love and peace and feeling rich in my body and my life, in everything that I do, having space, having safety in my body to leave a full-time job to go after my business, all of that is absolutely invaluable. That is because I feel loved and supported and all of the things because I chose to invest in me. And my coaches are there to support me and love me and hold me and get me there faster, because they've done this too. They've invested in themselves too. They've been on this journey too. And that is a gift. And they're journeying with me. I voice noted my coach the other day, literally me coaching myself through something. You think this is a woman who has built her business to absolutely amazing heights, right? And I was coaching myself through a voice note to her the other day, and she was like, what the fuck? I just had a profound transformation from you coaching yourself. Wild, right? It doesn't matter who you are on this earth. We are all humans at the beginning, at like the end of the day. It doesn't matter what money people make. It doesn't matter their status. It doesn't matter anything. The only difference between them and you is they've chosen to take a risk, a leap of faith, and invested in themselves. The only difference. The only reason I'm on here right now is I took a leap of faith and I decided to go all in on myself. I've done this now for a couple of years. I've grown, I've tried new things. I've, invested in stuff, and everything has worked out perfectly for me, even if it's not how I thought it would. My little control freak, Katie. But it's all been perfect. And it's all because I keep putting more investment into me. Because I, at the end of the day, am the most important person. And I'm the only one who's going to invest in me, and I'm the only one that's going to take me where I want to go. So I believe in me so much so that I invest over 30K with a mentor. Because I know she's going to get me where I need to be, where I want to be. And that may not look the way I think it will, but it may. So I want you today to think about how you can invest in yourself more. It doesn't have to be with a coach that's worth over 30K. Can be, if that is what you desire. If it's going on a retreat, the amount of retreats, and I've come back transformed as fuck. And it's the internal that's transformed, which radiates out. It's not the external that has, and so, don't get me wrong, the external has definitely changed. This incredible house I'm in right now is actually the most divine house in the world, and totally because I did the internal work and it compounded into a beautiful house. This podcast right now, this literally this microphone, this computer, this light that I've got here, this whole thing was beautifully and divinely guided, and I would not be here if I didn't invest in myself and know how fucking valuable I am. I wouldn't be speaking to you about this right now. And this is the difference, is I chose and knew that I am worthy of investing in. So I kept investing in me. And this is how I've got to where I am today. It is literally the secret. If I'm real, the times when there's so many times I could have given up, there's so many times when shit didn't look the way I thought it would, but you know how many lessons it taught me and how much it got me to the point where I was like, I'm ready to leave, no matter what it fucking looks like. I actually have no idea what my business will look like. I'm going to be real with you, girlfriend. I have no idea what the next 6 months looks like. Or what's happening when I get out of the army. Who fucking knows? But guess what? I don't need to. God's got me. The universe has got me. And the money will come in because I love my business and I fucking love the women that work with me, and I give them above and beyond because I love them so fucking much. Like so fucking much. Like I can't express to you how much I love them and how much I give them because I fucking just love them and I just want the best for them. And I know that I can get them exactly where they need to be. And so do they. That's why they invest in me. That's why they trust me to do this. That's why they send me messages even after we've worked together, and they tell me how much they still use all the things that I taught them and how they've grown so much, because it's a love, it's a friendship, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And though I'm also there to tell them the hard truths when the hard truths need to be said, right? Because this is the beauty of this, is when you invest in a coach, they need to be able to do both. They need to be able to bring the discipline of the military and the softness of the feminine and the beautiful dance, of that together to you to be your full support system. Doesn't mean you don't have other people to support you. Just let me make that clear. You do need other people to support you. However, sometimes you need someone who doesn't know you. Or maybe they do, but maybe in a different sense, because I'm a coach, Katie is different to friend Katie. But also they can be intertwined, but they're not always. Because when I'm speaking hard truths, that is me being a friend actually, but it's probably not what I'd say to my friends. Well, I don't know, some of them. Anyway, I'm going way off topic, but invest in you. How can you invest in yourself even deeper? And we really think about that. How can you invest in yourself even deeper? What is going to get you to the next level? Who is going to get you to the next level? And invest in you, because your value is based on what you invest in. Trust me. It doesn't have to be material things, but if you want to grow internally to change your external world, find the person or the thing or the course. It doesn't have to be a person, or the book, something that is going to get you there. But trust me, coaching, having a mentor, all the things has been the thing that got me to actually do the work and keep doing it. Because I've read many books and I've never picked them back up, or I've never done the exercise, or maybe I've done the exercise once and then never done them again. But a coach fucking holds you accountable. And there's not much else you can do when a coach is like, oi, why haven't you done it yet? Trust me, I've tried to get out of that. I don't win. This is why I bet coaches who will fucking tell me where to go. So that's my secret. And that's where I'm at. And I just wanted to share. Today I wasn't really sure what I was going to talk to you about, but here we go. That's what happened. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode and invest in you. How are you going to do that today?